Hi everyone. Humans first rose to prominence because we were adept at something that set us apart. We were tool users. That hasn't changed. Due to technological leaps, we can now build massive structures, in part due to the huge vehicles we've built over the years. But what is the biggest vehicle in the world anyway? We're not talking about monster trucks or double-decker buses. There are some truly massive machines out there, and they're usually built for a specific purpose. It's hard to say authoritatively what is the largest vehicle on Earth, mostly because people have different definitions of what a vehicle is, but we can definitely point to a couple of massive examples. So, today, we are going to show you 10 of the biggest vehicles that have ever been created. Make sure to watch till number 1, because it's one monster on the sea. Let's begin. Number 10. Bagger 288. Taller than the Statue of Liberty and heavier than the Eiffel Tower, this German mining machine is one of the largest land vehicles on Earth. Bagger 288 uses its revolving wheel of buckets as a shovel to continually shift 8.5 million cubic feet of dirt a day. Once it reaches a seam of brown coal, or lignite, it can harvest 265,000 tons of fuel a day. And the crew this behemoth requires? A mere 3 to 4 people. If you take your standard soccer field and dig down 98 feet within its boundaries, that's about what the Bagger 288 pulls out of the ground on a daily basis. That's enough to fill 2,400 coal wagons and completely exhaust the coal supply at Tagebau Hamburg in just 23 years. Number 9. Largest pickup truck. Meet the world's largest truck. Massive Dodge Power Wagon. Owned by Hamad bin Hamdan Al Nahyan, the Rainbow Sheikh, a member of the Abu Dhabi royal family in the United Arab Emirates UAE, this giant pickup truck, modified from the 1950s model, was the biggest pickup truck ever made. It holds 4 air-conditioned bedrooms, a living room and a bathroom, with a motorized tailgate that drops down to become a terrace. This monstrosity was commissioned by billionaire Sheikh Hamad in the UAE. Well, the Rainbow Sheikh has spent a few million on a collection of vehicles and has a massive pyramid-shaped building in Abu Dhabi to keep them all in. The collection boasts over 200 rare, exotic, expensive cars and trucks. Anyone visiting Abu Dhabi may visit this private collection during opening hours without paying any admission fees. The Sheikh is worth over $150 billion, yes, that's billion with a big capital B, not million with an M, and is consequently one of the world's richest men. But is he happy with all that wealth? Of course he is. Number 8. The Terex Bucyrus RH400. From mining the oil sands of Alberta to boring under the English Channel, some of the most extreme machines made by man are devoted to digging. Third on the list is Bucyrus RH400 hydraulic shovel. When it's not appearing on the silver screen, the RH400 can be found in the Canadian oil sands in Alberta, where this 3-story high behemoth set a production record, excavating 9,000 tons of earth in 1 hour. The RH400 shovel can hold up to 94 tons or 57 cubic yards in its shovel, which has what Bucyrus calls a clamshell design that opens at the bottom to empty its payload more quickly. With an $11 million price tag, it is best to leave as little downtime as possible when working the RH400 in a mine or oil sands. Bucyrus makes that continuous work easier on the driver by including a separate room behind the cab that can be outfitted with a refrigerator and a microwave. Number 7. The International Space Station ISS. Not all the enormous machines on this list are on Earth, some are in space. This is the International Space Station, a massive scientific research station that was launched into a low Earth orbit in 1998. It is a massive and impressive feat of engineering that's been home to a multitude of astronauts over the decades since it was launched. As many as 236 people from 18 countries have visited the station since it was launched in 1998. It's certainly one of our favorite massive machines. Current plans call for the space station to be operated through at least 2024, with the partners discussing a possible extension until 2028. Afterwards, plans for the space station are not clearly laid out. It could be deorbited, or recycled for future space stations in orbit. Number 6. Longest limo. Known as the world's longest car ever built. Called the American Dream, this massive limousine was built by California custom car guru Jay Orberg. It measures in at a stunning 100 feet long, which earned it the title of being the longest car, certified by Guinness World Records in the mid-90s. This massive 100-foot-long limousine is hinged together at the hip in the middle and sitting on 26 wheels and 2 separate drivers' cabins. With a 75-person capacity, this thing had it all: a putting green, a king-sized waterbed, a pool, a satellite dish, a helipad, and a jacuzzi. The current condition is beyond rough, with several wheels missing, visible body damage, an interior largely stripped out and open to the elements, missing windows and missing trim. Alas, the American dream is dead, in limo form, anyway. It turns out that there may be a silver lining to this story though, as De Muro also points out that Auberg's limo may have been saved by the Autoseum in Mineola, New York. Here's hoping that really is the case. It'd be a real shame for such an awesome ride to go to waste. Number 5. Balaz 75710. When you are mining the world for its natural resources, it's no surprise to know that every penny counts. Powered by 2 diesel engines, this giant truck weighs in at an incredible 360 tons and is capable of moving 450 tons of rubble in one go. To tackle at least part of the cost challenge, the state-owned company Balaz in the former Soviet Republic of Belarus created what is probably the biggest dump truck in the world, the Balaz 75710. As long as 2 double-decker buses parked end-to-end, 6 times as powerful as today's Formula One racing cars and weighs more than a fully loaded Airbus A380 passenger plane. If you stood next to it, you'd struggle to reach halfway up one of its 8 tires, unless you're at least 6 feet 7 inches tall. To help it carry more than existing vehicles, its makers have incorporated a range of design features. It has 8 wheels in pairs, compared to the more usual 6. Each tubeless pneumatic tire can support 102 tons, allowing them to carry the maximum capacity load on top of the 350 tons the empty vehicle weighs. Number 4. Panzer 8 Maus. Hitler's ego spawned World War II's largest and most futile tank design, which became the Maus that never roared. The Panzer 8 Maus is a fascinating machine that bridges the line between World War II and what we might consider Weird World War. It is a real, physical example of just how far German engineers, Ferdinand Porsche in particular, were willing to push the boundaries of design and technology. The tank was built on Hitler's mentality that large, mobile steel bunkers such as these would change Germany's fortunes in the war. This was likely painted by his own experiences with the first tanks in World War I, which he came into contact with firsthand. When put into the context of Hitler's experience, this made a lot of sense. However, put into the context of World War II, a mobile combined arms war where Germany no longer had air superiority, it made absolutely no sense. Number 3. NASA Crawler Transporter. Meet the unlikeliest technological hero of the space program, getting the job done at the space-age speed of 1 foot per second. For 5 decades this £6.3 million behemoth of a machine, like a baseball diamond perched atop tank treads, has moved NASA rockets from their hangars to the launch pad at Cape Canaveral. Maxing out at just a mile an hour, the crawlers hauled the iconic Saturn V used in the Apollo missions on the 8-hour trip from the vehicle assembly building. They carried Skylab, the first U.S. space station. They moved every space shuttle on all 135 missions. Not bad for a machine that debuted the year after the Ford Mustang. How many Mustangs do you see on the road today? You guessed that right. None. They've all gone by the wayside. But the crawler transporters are still at work. The crawlers were the work of the Marion Power Shovel Company, of Marion, Ohio, and NASA bought 2 identical vehicles. They have been refurbished over the years, and they are one of the few pieces of Apollo-era equipment that has been easily adapted to the post-Apollo era. Just before we reveal the number 1 on this list, we would like you to take just a few seconds to click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. With that out of the way, here's the best we saved for last. Number 2. Antonov AN225. Powered by no less than 6 massive turbofan engines, the Antonov AN225, nicknamed Emria, is the world's biggest operational cargo plane capable of pumping out over 23,000 kilograms of thrust. She is a serial record breaker and isn't too bad looking either. With a wingspan of 88.4 meters and a length of 84 meters, the Antonov AN225 was designed and built by the Soviets as a super heavy transporter. She first flew in 1988 and successfully completed a 74-minute flight from Kiev. After the long overdue collapse of the Soviet Union, the Antonov AN225 was grounded for many years. It was later purchased by the Ukrainian company Antonov Airlines, who have used it as a transporter ever since. She also makes regular appearances at air shows around the world. Number 1. Suez Giant. Were this to be a big-budget fiction movie, critics would declare the plot to be absurd, the story of a ship, the largest one ever built, being bombed, completely sunk and then hauled from the seabed and patched up to serve another 21 years. Strange then, that so few people know the history behind this gargantuan sea vessel, all 564,000 tons of her, 50 feet longer than the Empire State Building is high, with a hold that could swallow St. Paul's Cathedral 4 times over. She was the largest moving man-made object on the planet. Construction of this oil tanker began in 1979 for a Greek shipping magnate. As a result of the oil embargo in the 1970s, the original owner was declared bankrupt before his ship could be completed. This led to the Hong Kong shipping magnate Mr. C.Y. Tung buying the incomplete ship under an agreement the builders would increase its length so the deadweight tonnage could be increased from 480,000 to 564,763 tons. So out of the above-mentioned vehicles, which one is the most fascinating to you? Let us know in the comment section below. That's our video for today, folks. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't and check out this playlist to your right for more top 10 videos. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.